Hello everyone, and welcome to a quick video that I have brought on my channel for you. Couple of announcements. First of all, today marks the first day of my Christmas break, and I will be doing like a vlog on Christmas sometime soon. Sorry my face is really red, I'm really flushed for some reason, and I just got a haircut today. But the thing I wanted to talk about is I've got a video today called My Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon Team. Now, what this video is about is it's basically a lot of YouTubers have done videos on what they're talking about on what their Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon teams are, and I thought I'd do the same thing. So I'm going to go over all the team members, all 6 of them, and I will explain the circumstances in which I got them, as well as if they were as well as some other team members that were on the team for a bit, but I ended up getting rid of, and not using until the post game for some of them. So basically, what did I choose as my starter is the first question. Now in Pokemon normal Sun and Moon, I chose Rowlet as my starter because I really like flying types, and Rowlet was sold for me because it was one of my favourite Pokemon. It still is. But this time I wanted something different. Like, I had 2 choices, Popplio and Litten. And I was looking through all the movesets and stuff and realised that Litten just did a much better job. Like, Litten had a lot more coverage attacks than Primarina did. So, I chose Litten as my starter, which eventually became Incineroar. I named it Ferocious, which is a bit of a pun between Ferocious and Fur, so Ferocious, it's like that, and I'm pretty proud of that. My second team member, though, was a Pokemon that I planned to use, but, and I did use it, but it took me forever to evolve it. Now, I found out that you can actually catch Noibat in Pokemon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so I caught Noibat when I beat the normal trial, and throughout the entire game I had a Noibat which I named Screecher, and it didn't evolve into Noivern until the final showdown against Ether Paradise, but when it did, it was very powerful. Now, one Pokemon I was really excited about using, and because my nan had pre-ordered the game for me, was the event Rockruff. And even though it took me quite a long time to evolve it, I finally got Dusk Lycanroc on my team, and I must say, it is great. I remember that a lot of people really hated Dusk Lycanroc when it first came out. But why? I never ever hated Dusk Lycanroc. In fact, I've always loved it, and I still do. And I named it Sunset because it's Dusk Lycanroc, and I thought that'd be a good name for it. And yeah, so those are 3 team members so far: Incineroar, Lycanroc, and Noivern. Now, the other 3 members of my team were... There was one that was interchanging, which I'll talk about at the end, actually. Who else was that? Oh, yes. After Paniola Town, I found a Pokemon that I've been wanting to use in a playthrough for forever now. I'm using one in Brick Bronze currently, but I haven't played Brick Bronze in quite a while, and I thought, you know what, I want to use this Pokemon in an actual game. That Pokemon being Ampharos, and I recently got the Mega Stone for Ampharos, and it's a really good electric type Pokemon. Its level up moveset is a bit crap, if I'm being honest, but luckily we have the Mantone Surf move tutors now, so I'm pretty happy about that. I was able to teach it things like Signal Beam and Dragon Pulse, and what was the other one that I had? It was yeah, Power Gem, that's it. I also taught it Fire Punch, and it's got quite a big coverage moveset. And yeah, that was my 4th team member. Now, my 5th team member, I actually forgot who it was. Oh, come on, it should remember to me. Okay, you know what, I'll talk about the interchangeable team member when I came and see if I come back to it. So what happened is during the gameplay, by the time I got to the Pokemon breeding center, my friend Callum came around my house and traded me an Eevee, and I decided, well, my favorite evolution is Sylveon, but I might actually try and interchange things a bit, change things up a bit. So I ended up evolving it into Leafeon instead. But what happened is I ended up trading Leafeon back to Callum, so he could evolve his Scyther into Scizor. And when he evolved his Scyther into Scizor, I traded him back his Scizor in return for an Emolga, which is one of my favourite Pokemon. And so he has the Leafeon now. And by the end of the story, I wasn't really using the Leafeon anyway, because I had switched it out with a different team member. And the other two team members I was switching it out for multiple times were Totem Mimikyu and Poipole, now Naganadel. Now, Naganadel, for some reason, I was really, really excited to use him, but unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it by the time I got to him. Mimikyu ended up being the last team member, and yeah. And it still hasn't... Oh, no, I remember who the last team member was. Now, one thing I noticed that a lot of people were doing with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is they were using the island scan a lot more prominently. Now, I wanted to do the same thing, so I used the island scan. The first time I used it was on Akala Island, and I used it on a Wednesday, and the Pokemon that you get for using it on Akala Island on Wednesday is Marshtomp, the evolved form of Mudkip. And that was great for me, because Marshtomp is my second favourite water starter, obviously behind Greninja, but the thing is though, Hoenn was a really, really difficult generation for me because I could not decide which of the starters was my favourite. Originally it was Blaziken, but I don't like Blaziken anymore. Then I was tied between Swampert and Sceptile, and Callum talks a lot about Sceptile, but personally I think Swampert's the best, so that was my last team member, Swampy the Swampert. So, and that had a good coverage as well. It had Scald, because Muddy Water sucked, Mud Bomb, which eventually became Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Hammer Arm / Sludge Wave, which were the two that I used. So to recap, this was my team. Ferocious as Incineroar, Sunset the Dusk Lycanroc, Screecher the Noivern, Swampy the Swampert, oh god, I've already forgotten what they were. Ampchamp the Ampharos, that's what I named it. And then my three interchangeable team members, Leafeon, I didn't nickname it, Mimikyu the Mimikyu, and I'm honestly embarrassed for naming it this, Purple the Poipole. I'm really, really embarrassed by that. I'm not creative in the slightest. But I've done a lot more like work on the post-game, and my post-game team at the minute is roughly the same, except I've traded it for a bunch of different legendaries. I still have Incineroar, Ampharos, and what was the last one? Swampert on my team, but I swapped the other three for Mewtwo, who is my favourite legendary, Necrozma, who is now almost my favourite legendary. Ultra Necrozma is so good, and I don't remember what I traded the last one. I think it was Zygarde, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. You probably didn't, because I got stuck quite a lot. I probably should have had this thing on while I was talking, so it wouldn't have been too hard. But anyway, I've got something to send to my friend Callum. Is a picture I'm drawing that he wants me, so I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to see you all in the next video. So, bye guys.